Miami Heat head coach Erik Spoelstra has been running a 2-3 zone defense in this year's Eastern Conference Final Series against the Boston Celtics. If you're wondering what the Miami Heat do in a 2-3 zone defense, don't worry, this visual guide is for you. The Miami Heat are running a 2-3 zone defense. A zone defense is different from a man-to-man defense in that instead of guarding a player, each defender is responsible for guarding an area of the court and any offensive player that comes into that area. It is called a 2-3 zone because of its formation on the court, which consists of 2 players at the front of the defense and 3 players behind, closer to the team's basket. What makes the Miami Heat zone so special is that they run 2 wing players at the top of the zone. Wing players are players like Derrick Jones Jr. or Jimmy Butler, usually bigger than most opponents' team's guards. Their responsibilities are to have active hands to make passes and drives tough. This will make the ball handler think twice about driving and passing against size and length. They also have the responsibility to deter drives to the middle of the floor and to make opponents' shots at the top of the key very difficult. They also have the responsibility to take away the high post or free throw line area. The next level of the Heat zone defense, which is usually Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson, or Goran Dragic, their responsibilities are to help the top of the zone on drives if they get beat off the dribble. They also have the responsibility to defend wing and corner three-pointers, and if you notice, they are positioned above their opponents in the corner to help on drives and rotations. Last but not least is the center, or the last line of defense in the zone defense. This is usually played by Bam Adebayo. He's usually positioned right in front of the basket and is the main basket protector. With that said, he has to avoid the 3-second call because he cannot be in the paint or in the lane area for longer than 3 seconds. He's very important in the zone defense because he can see everything in front of him, and he must be vocal and has to communicate to the top lines of the zone defense to tell them what is going on behind them. The overall purpose of playing zone defense is to make the offense slow down and limit as much dribble penetration as they can. Because the Celtics have great one-on-one scorers like Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum that are great at scoring off the dribble, this makes the 2-3 zone defense an optimal defense for the Heat to play. Here we're going to take a couple looks at the Heat playing good zone defense. Here the Celtics are going to move the ball around. Notice how there's no dribble penetration, no one really getting to the front of the rim. The Celtics are holding the ball, and eventually they'll have to take a tough shot. When the ball is held, the defense doesn't move, so it makes it easier to defend against. Here the Heat are in black. Notice how the Celtics are holding the ball, not really moving it or getting good dribble penetration, so the zone defense collapse. Kemba tries to make something happen off the dribble, but ends up being defended by Jae Crowder and runs into the back line of defense in Bam Adebayo. Notice how the ball is sticking for the Celtics. Again, not a lot of dribble penetration. Marcus Smart holds this ball for way too long. The zone defense is not going to move. They end up getting it up to Kemba, and he's working against a short shot clock, so he has to force something, ends up throwing it out of bounds. We're going to talk about the top line of the zone defense here. Notice how the top line, Derrick Jones Jr., Jae Crowder, always have their hands out, waving, trying to disrupt the pass. Here, Derrick Jones Jr. gets his hands on the ball, gets the ball going in the backcourt. The top of the zone must have active hands. Here we'll see Jimmy Butler get his hands on a pass that would have gone to Jason Tatum. The top of the zone also has to get out the shooters. We'll see the Heat make some aggressive closeouts. Since these are wing players playing at the top of the zone, they have the athleticism to compete even if they get beat off the dribble. Here we'll see Derrick Jones Jr. recover and make an excellent block. The next level of the zone defense also has to help out on drives, as we mentioned before. Here we'll see Goran Dragic stop 2 drives and force Marcus Smart into a bad shot. Here we'll see Tyler Herro help Jae Crowder out on a drive, do an excellent job of containing the ball and forcing a bad shot. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned how the center in the zone has to avoid the 3-second defensive violation for being in the lane for too long. In these clips, we'll see Bam 2.9 or get his feet outside of the paint right before the 3-second call to reset the count and then defend the basket. Centers also have to get outside the lane to help out on drives. We'll see Bam get outside the lane here and stop Jaylen Brown from scoring and force a kick out. Centers in the zone also have to be able to make multiple effort defensive plays at the rim, and Bam Adebayo is one of the best in the NBA. One of the final keys and main takeaways that I want to point out about this Heat zone defense is, oh my goodness, do you guys hear that? That's Jimmy Butler's music.